How you doing, everybody? Mike here in New York, and this is going to be a video on do-it-yourself DIY alarm system on any vehicle, any car, any construction van. My biggest problem here in New York is somebody breaking into my van, my construction vans, in the middle of the night and stealing my tools. Now, what I did here is, as you see here, these here are the original Honeywell motion detectors. These are Honeywell motion detectors. Honeywell motion detectors from the old Ademco manufacturer. Let me turn this. This is
glass break.
I don't know why it's saying glass break, but basically what I did was, in all my vans, I took a motion detector and a glass break detector, and I mounted it on a piece of wood like this. One goes in one car, another one goes in another car. And here are the these are the 5890 PIs. These are the old Ademco, which is now Honeywell, and Honeywell is now using these. These are the 5800. They call them 5800 RESs. These are the 5816 transmitters you find on all the doors. These are the old systems. You know, this is the old technology, okay? But, you know, it works fine for what I want to do. And I mounted the motion detector and the glass break detector on a piece of wood. And in my car, in my construction vans, I put one of these, and I have a 5816 transmitter that is wired to a relay. Now, I'm using the zone on the 5816 transmitter. I'm using that to trigger, the relay. I'm using the 12 volts from the dome light in the car. Anytime you open your door, your dome light comes on, and that's going to trigger a relay, right? And that's how I'm triggering off these 5816 transmitters. Now, this is only going to work if you already have a system in your house. If you have an old Ademco wireless 5800 series, or in today's day and age, Honeywell, the Honeywell 5800 series, this is my car alarm only, okay? And all these transmitters are programmed into this car alarm, okay? At night when I go to bed, I turn this on. When my alarm goes off, it sets off this keypad, and this keypad will wake me up. Now, you gotta understand, if you already have this system or any 5800 series, this is the L7000. It will also work with the 5200, 5210, I think they call it. This here wireless system. Okay, all you need to do is program extra zones into your system. You go into the programming, which the factory is 4112, and go into programming and go into zones. You can program the zones into it. Now, I already have car back motion detector, car glass break detector, car transit door, car 2 transit door. These are all the transmitters that are programmed into it. These are all transmitters that set this off in the event of an alarm. Now, I had to use the 5800 RP, which is a repeater, and I mounted that over my front window in front of the house so that I never get a loss of signal. My alarm always goes off. By using a 5800 RP, that's going to make sure that alarm keypad will always receive the signal, because that repeater is directly over my front window of my house. And basically, now if you really want to take it further than that, Honeywell has what's called the 5800 relay, which is a 5800 wireless relay that I'm using a old Moose MPI 11 siren driver, and I have a 30-watt siren speaker on my house. So anytime that alarm goes off, it's going to set off my speaker that's outside, which is going to scare them away also. That's optional. That's up to you if you wanted to do that. Okay, this is basically my way of securing the system. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn up the volume. I'm going to turn up the volume. And I'm going to show you, you're going to hear it. I'm going to simulate 12 volts to trigger the relay from a 5816 transmitter with a relay. And remember, you could hook this up to any dome light in your car. And when somebody opens your door and triggers
car door, car door.
You hear that? It's going to set it off. Car door. Okay.
Car front motion sensor. Car front motion sensor. Car front motion sensor.
Now all my zones in the car, as you notice, I have the chime turned on and they're all programmed as perimeter zones. I do not use entry, exit, or none of that. They're all set up for perimeter and the chime is turned on. So even in the daytime when my alarm is off and all these transmitters are in my vans and in my cars, anytime any door is open or somebody gets in my car, I'm going to get a notification on there telling me car door open. Okay, that's if you have the chime turned on. If you don't have the chime turned on, it's not going to work. So remember, these are all 5800 PIRs. They don't make these anymore. This is the one that they're making now. These come down. I've been in the business installing alarms for over 30 years, and I have thousands and thousands of these. Okay, when we do takeovers, it is mandatory for the company. I'm not going to mention the name of the company, but we all know who they are with the blue signs. We had to put the new ones, and all the old ones, I've been saving them. And I probably got hundreds, maybe, I got crates full of these in storage, okay? And same thing goes for the 5816 transmitters, okay? We have, this is very easy to do. Now, as far, I have what's called Total Connect on my phone, and I have an account, and let me tell you a trick for that. I have one here, and I have another one in the kitchen, okay? You see that one there? That is a full house alarm. It also has all my smoke detectors, my glass break detectors, and it has my carbon monoxide detectors. I'm using over 40 something zones. And the trick to that is I took both of these L7000 and put them down next to each other. And when you activate the Total Connect, if you put them both next to each other and you hit register at the same time, it's going to register both the I have in here the Wi-Fi module, and the one over there in the kitchen, which is the main house, has the new 5G LTE wireless GSM radio. And I have a Total Connect account that I'm paying $20-something a month. That's DIY. You could go online. There's a couple of companies on there. You could go online. And when you hit register at the same time on both of these, it registers the Wi-Fi module and the LTE 5G radio at the same time. So I have the Wi-Fi module in here and the radio, the LTE radio in the other one. And it doesn't matter which one of these triggers an alarm. I get an alert on my phone anytime that any of my alarms are triggered. That also includes any of my transmitters, any of my alarms on my vehicles. Now that's optional if you want to leave I have no choice but to turn off supervision, because when I drive away with the car or my vans, the problem is you do not want supervision turned on, or else your keypad is going to go into trouble, and that's going to be a problem. So supervision for all the transmitters outside in the vehicles is turned off. You cannot use that. Well, thanks for this video. I'm sorry if I'm stuttering a little bit. I'm doing the best I can for this. This is a long overdue video. I should have done this a long time ago, but this is my DIY, okay? Even with the factory alarms that's in my in my work van, you see in my construction van, they actually went up under my hood and they cut my wire from my horn. So my factory alarm didn't work, but they did trigger the alarm on the house, which scared them away.